Hey everybody, Zach here, and welcome to the 59th lesson of this RTS tutorial series. In this lesson, we will work on our recruitment queue and fix the bug that I pointed out in the last video. This is also the bug I was hinting at that would be showing up. Also, we will fix the issue where our unit can shoot behind itself. That said, remember I will not be releasing videos this upcoming week, but be returning to my schedule the week after. Now, all of that said, fire up your editor, and let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to the editor, and in this video we're going to take care of that recruitment queue issue. We'll also take care of the issue where the unit is shooting when it's facing the wrong direction. Now, for those of you who are paying close attention when we set up our recruitment queue, that is recruitment queue, I said the hint might be we need an array. And for those of you paying particularly close attention, we set that array up. So let's open up the training post. And fortunately, we're in the blueprint we need, or the function we need, which is a spawn new unit function. And now this is a bit more than just changing which particular array we're using. This isn't even an array. But it's also about changing the logic we use in part of this. And this is the reason why you should be looking at this and thinking about why it works. I'm trying to teach the logic. This isn't meant for you to be copying directly from. It's meant for you to learn how to think about how these things work. That said, it's also the reason why I don't post up a copy of the project, besides the fact it's an ongoing project. So let's get rid of this unit type here. And we have this array, unit types to spawn. Let's get that. And we're only going to be spawning one of these at a time. And it just so happens to be the first item in the array typically, which is item 0 or array element 0. So we're going to get a reference to the first array element, which is 0, and that's what we are going to spawn. However, this will lead to issues where it will spawn ad nauseum. It won't stop spawning ever. So we're actually going to have to change this setup. We are going to need to we're going to get rid of these two variables actually. We're going to switch it over to units to be trained. We're going to get them. We are, instead of incrementing them, going to decrement this number. And we are going to set units to be trained to the new decremented number. So decrementation, if I'm saying that right, reduces whatever we put in by 1. So we're going to delete that. We're just going to move this in its place. I'm just going to move that down here, though. And I really do not like the fact you can't line these up nicely. All right, so it decrements it. Next, well, we need to actually change our check number spawned, because we're using this complete training. If I were to delete it now, I would have gotten an error that it's still in use. All right, let's unplug that one. And we actually need to move this here. So it's now, if this is greater, or actually, no, that's wrong, sorry. Ignore me. We're going to need this in a minute. We're going to delete the completed training. Okay, sorry. I'm misreading my notes on the name of this variable. So we need to plug units to be trained into this top here. So this number needs to be less than something. Well, what it needs to be less than for us to keep training is the length of our queue. So we get our array there, and we get the length of it. And we're going to plug that into there. So when we have 5 units to train, it will keep training. When we decrement this, eventually this number will be less than this number, and we stop training, because we don't reduce this number until later on. In fact, if we go back to our spawn unit, we don't decrement it until the next function. So it's going to be, at the end of the entire cycle of spawning a unit out, yes, it's going to be, they're going to be equal. But at this moment, they're not. This is going to be one less than this at the end. And then we're going to just clear out everything there. In fact, we can get out this completed training because we're not going to be using it. We just plug that into there. But there is a small problem with this. It will keep spawning when it's negative. So we're going to add a boolean in as well. Or an and boolean in as well. Let's just move this all down a tiny bit. And what the and boolean is going to do. So first off, actually, I want you to pause this, remove the and boolean, pause it, run it, put 3 units into train, see how many units you get out. When you're done with that, that's happening because the length is less than it. It's negative. So it's still a true statement. All right. So the next bit we need to do is we need to check, are the units to be trained greater than the count of 0? If it is greater to or equal to 0, then we want it to be true. If it's greater than 0, we want this to be true. If it's not, if this is now 0, it has 1 unit left to train, that's its last unit. We want it to clear it there. So that will take care of our training queue. So let's go ahead and test this. Let's move over here. Open that up. 1, 2, 3. If they all have pickaxes, this didn't work. There's a rifle. Our infantry worked. There is a toolbox, so our support worked. And let's see, do we have the pickaxe on the correct unit this time? We do. So, and we have no extra units spawning in. It worked. Brilliant. Control S, save everything. Now, let's go to our RTS tutorial folder, go to units, go to your infantry unit, and if you didn't notice, we don't need a construction script, by the way, it shoots at things that are behind it or way off to the side at angles it shouldn't be able to shoot at. So what we are going to do is we are going to add in a check on this do damage. Now, I'm going to pause before we add this check in. I'm just going to move this down for a second and highlight something. We never use this. For anyone who's eagle-eyed a couple of videos ago, you'll notice this event never happens. This does, though. And the reason this does is we call this in the player controller. And if you set the damage entry to be visible in game, you'll notice it stops short. Now, if you're also particularly eagle-eyed, you'll notice that, let's open up this, we only, I don't even think we do it in there. We don't even update the target of the unit. We just reduce its health. We never actually check this. We never reduce it. Sorry, we never actually clear this. We just check, is it valid? That's the reason for this box, really. It's meant so if you move a unit away and it stops attacking, you can move it back to the unit and it will attack again. That way you don't have to retarget the unit exactly. You can just start moving them away and then back towards. All right. So we're going to put a branch in, as I said. Yes, I actually do have plans for how this goes. Sometimes I do things a bit early by mistake, like this thing. I didn't think about that until I realized, oh yeah, I meant to do that in this video. All right, we are going to, if this is false, we are going to stop the timer. We don't want it doing any damage anymore. So this becomes 0. And this will become no longer looping. Now we are going to create a function. There'll be a peer function out here. We'll collapse it down. We're going to get our target unit. So I'm just going to, instead of searching for it, Control W it here. Remember, it's coming from our parent, so we have to search for it. And I want to know its location. So get actor location. Hey, it actually showed up this time. I also want to get actor location of the unit I'm currently in. So I'm going to Control W a copy of that node above it. So this is our current infantry unit. This is the unit doing the being attacked. Now, I want to know what the difference in their rotations are, because that's going to tell me which way my unit is facing. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to get the find look at rotation. Now, this might seem really familiar to those of you who have done the car stuff before, because this comes from our car as well, or is in our car as well. This gives me the rotation. I want to know the difference in the look at rotation, so the delta, so the difference between this look at rotation. So And the rotation of the unit doesn't matter because we're not looking at the rotation of the unit versus the rotation of our unit. We're looking at, well, what way does this unit have to turn to see this target? We want to also know our current actor's rotation. So our infantry unit's rotation. So this returns our infantry unit's rotation. We want the difference between the way it is, B here, and what it has to look at. Now we're going to use a float in range, and we want to know, is this in a certain range? So in range, oh, sorry, I skipped a step. I did this all the time. Split this pin structure. We only care about one of the rotations, and that's the yaw, or the Z, or Z. We want the in range float. And we want to know, is it in the range of -45 and 45 degrees? And I'll say it took me a little bit, well, one attempt prior to actually coming up with these numbers to realize it was 45 and 45, not 90 and 90. That is our function. Now we're going to highlight all these nodes. We're going to right-click it, and we are going to collapse to function. And this function will be get target rotation. We'll convert it to a pure. The return value be is target in front. If it's true, then we will do damage, hopefully, if we hit it. If it's false, we will stop shooting. Now, why this is 45 and -45 and 45, if you think about 90 and 90, that is going to cover the very far sides of the unit. So it's going to cover the profile completely. 45 and 45 will give you a more face-based point of view where you're getting that cone of vision in front of the unit. You can tweak these numbers to be a bit bigger if you want. I would just say, you know, from the drawing a line from my right shoulder through my left shoulder outwards in both directions, that is, I can't shoot that way easily and target. So I'm going to think about it, you know, which way I can turn my hips to turn my body to aim and shoot. And that's going to give me that 45-45 for now at least. All right, let's test this out, make sure it works. I hope that example actually made sense to people. Like I said, remember that when we use this unit, it isn't that collision box that's causing that. It's the player controller for when it stops movement. That was... He's done damage to himself. He's done damage to the unit. Let's turn the unit this way. And this way. And we'll see he stops doing damage. Now, let's walk the unit right there. And you'll see he's doing damage again. She's entered that collision box. It's destroyed. Let's test with this unit. So it's actually... Sorry, I was... the reason why that wasn't showing up was I was clicking too close to him, so it was trying to target himself. There we are. He does damage. Let's turn the unit that way. Stops doing damage. Let's bring the unit back into range. Ooh, you aren't doing damage. We're hurting ourselves. Come on, attack. There we go. We're doing damage again. Let's just turn slightly. So we should still be in that 45 cone. Trying to get these units at the right angle to show this is a bit tricky. The way I've tested to make sure this works is I've used larger numbers. We're actually going to just move farther away. There we go. And they were doing damage again. So one of the things you might want to think about doing to update this a bit better is having the unit rotate when we pick the target. Now that's something we might do at the end of this section. But that said, that takes us through what we're going to do in today's video. In the next video, we're going to change up our support unit so it makes the infantry unit either fire faster, that's not the infantry unit, that is, or do more damage. I'll decide either based on comments or based on whatever I feel like if I don't have enough comments. That said, one will very easily show you how to do the other, so don't worry if you want one and I do the other. We also might change it up so we get some stuff in there. And then after we're done with these special units, we'll take care of making special resources so that we can then make our vehicles. That said, I hope you enjoyed this series. Again, sorry for the delay, and as a reminder, I will not be recording a video for this upcoming week because I'm away for a bit. I will, however, return to my usual schedule the following week. That said, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, hit the like button down below, and make sure to hit that subscribe and notify icon so you know when the next tutorial is out. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.